Very good evening, friends. This side Rahul Magan here as a Group Chief Executive Officer, Treasury Consulting, and also a venture capitalist. As we speak, in precisely June 2021, Treasury Consulting Group is on the verge of completing 5 years. And in these 5 years, we not raised a single penny from any venture capitalist. Unlike so called unicorns of India, those who raised billions of dollars but they not got profit. We are 100% profitable group having offices in India, Singapore and Hong Kong, and more importantly, we are waiting for coronavirus to end, and God willing we would be moving to United Kingdom and very soon would be United States of America. Treasury Consulting offer a lot of products and services, and majority of the products and services are listed on our fixedincome.global. But still, if you wish to have any information, you can WhatsApp me, or you can give me a call on my number, which is +91 9899242978, or you can WhatsApp on our back office, which is +91 9818485155. Thank you. Banking is changing at a much faster pace across the globe. There is no doubt about that. I still remember last year when coronavirus erupted somewhere in December 2020. And by March 2020, almost all big US banks were on their knees. Were on their knees doesn't mean they were closed, it means that their stock prices were on their knees. Many institutional investors came in public domain. I don't wanted to name anyone you know. And few are so-called legendary investors. They sold American banks. But around 1 year, 3 months from that story, US banks are back at par. Rather, if we speak about Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan, they performed much better in this last 1 year and 3 months. Not only in terms of business volume, but also in terms of share price, profitability, they performed really well. Rather, American banks, I would say their trading desk performed really well, to be honest. And I haven't seen that any American bank raising a huge amount of capital in the last one and a half years. Rather, their performance went up, and I haven't noticed any American bank who raised a huge amount of capital. In fact, very recently, Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan lended a good amount of money to SoftBank. So it is going the other side, which means that they are giving money to the people rather than they are taking money from the people. But if I look at that thing from an alternate side, like India, the story is completely different. If I speak from recently angle that Federal Bank, I think the fifth largest public sector bank, is looking forward to raise money for non-banking financial corporation. The non-banking financial corporation of Federal Bank is not listed. HDFC is looking forward to raise money and also going for initial public offer of their NBFC. Since coronavirus erupted in the country, which is officially March 2020, Indian Bank raised a huge amount of capital. And Indian corporates also raised a huge amount of capital. Of course, debt trap is on the cards. We need to understand that whenever a bank raises money or a corporate raises money, the definition of the debt trap remains intact. So please don't think that if a bank is raising the money that debt trap will never happen. No, it is not like that. The issue is 99.99% of the people, those who are watching this video or listening this video, they themselves do not sure about a term called ALCO. ALCO stands for Asset and Liability Committee. By the way, it is the most powerful committee we have in the bank. But how fairly ALCO performs in India, we all understand. More importantly, there is a concept called immunization, which covers under ALM, Asset Liability Management. Not a single bank in India disclose immunization. And not a single bank in US do not disclose immunization. Immunization is fundamentally covered in the pillar 3 of Basel 3. Pillar 3 is nothing but the market risk. There are people who say pillar 1 and pillar 2 are also important. I'm saying pillar 3 is more important. Of course, when the Basel 4 will come, the time will tell, to be honest. Pillar 3 covers asset liability management in a very detailed way. Example, if you get some time, then you download the annual report, which is known as 10K of JP Morgan Chase, Goldman Sachs. You will get to know that they are covering immunization as per Basel 3 standards. While none of the Indian banks is covering asset liability, that's a separate thing. They are audited by the Big Fours. Big Fours. Considering this as a backdrop, we got a news. And what is that news is that Bank of Baroda, Indian public sector bank, by the way, a lot of news are coming like Niti Aayog is asked by the government to finalize two public sector bank and one insurance company to sell. I don't know who would be the final contender, who would be the bidder, who would be the two names. I really don't know, to be honest. But I know one thing that the government is in full mood to sell the banks because of the shortfall in the revenue. Like today, when we are speaking, which is 1st June precisely, the GDP is contracted by around 7.5, 7.3%. Fiscal deficit is around 9.6%. So government left with no option else to raise, which is called demonetization, also known as non-debt capital receipts. And banks, insurance companies, oil companies, like recently BPCL gave a bumper bonus of around 58 rupees per share as to entice investors. I don't know how many investors actually get enticed. At least I not get enticed by 58 rupees per share, to be honest. Now, guys, Bank of Baroda is planning to raise 50 billion Indian rupees. 50 billion Indian rupees, which is precisely 690 million US dollars. And this is via sale of equity and bonds. In equities, they would be raising 20 billion Indian rupees, which is precisely 40%, and bonds, they would be raising around 30 billion, which is around 60%, which means that out of total 50 billion Indian rupees, 40% is to be raised by equities, while 60% is to be raised by bonds. Do not forget that in bond you need to pay the interest, which is a part of your PNL, which impacts your PAT. PAT stands for profit after tax, which is also known as bottom line in our language. Most importantly, equities is also not free, in the sense like if you raise equities, you need to give the dividend. If you don't give the dividend, like there are many legendary investors in India told that Indian public sector banks are undervalued in terms of share price. I don't agree. They're not undervalued. Look at the way they disclose the balance sheet. Look at the way they compute the non-performing asset. Look at the way of the functioning. They're not undervalued. They are undervalued because the way they report the balance sheet. Like, did you ever look at the do you even know one bank, one public sector bank in India who hold a presentation called investor analyst? Do you even know one public sector bank, but by the way, private sector banks are also same, who disclosed imputed liabilities? The way we present numbers, the banking numbers in India are completely obsolete, but still we trust on these numbers. The net loss as of 31st March 2021 is around 10.5 billion Indian rupees. 10.5 billion Indian rupees. Now, the moral of the story is that you are looking forward to raise 50 billion Indian rupees. And do you know, in March, they already raised 45 billion Indian rupees. You already raised 45 billion Indian rupees. 50 billion you wanted to raise, 45 plus 50, 95, closer to 100 billion Indian rupee you are raising to strengthen your capital. And remember, 2023 Basel III is compliant across the globe, which means that no country of the globe is having any preemptive rights to say that no, we are not going to acknowledge this. How much capital is required by the Indian banks to comply to Basel III? You even cannot compute. Sitting today, not a single estimation has been done that how much capital do we need in Indian banking to comply with the Basel III, but the quantum is huge. I'm telling you, huge. Now, the moral of the story is that the bad loans in March quarter is around 8.87%. In December quarter, it was around 8.48%, more or less flat. The world computes ECL, expected credit losses. United States computes CECL, current expected. Now the question is, US computes CECL, the world computes ECL, and India computes net non-performing asset ratios. And still, we believe that by raising 60-50 billion, we would be able to strengthen our capital. The question is not about Bank of Baroda. If you look holistically, this question is relevant for all Indian banking entities. Axis Bank, HDFC, ICICI, all Indian banking entities except foreign counterparts, Indian counterparts, basically the Indian counterpart of foreign banks like JP Morgan Chase India, Standard Chartered India, HSBC India, and all. They are well diversified and well capitalized. But banks are raising huge amount of money, and the kind of notional they are giving is the rate of interest is low, so let's raise the money. So guys, there is a concept created somewhere in 2008, too big to fail, which means that if this bank or financial institution or insurance company or maybe a kind of non-banking financial corporation crashed, then it means that it mess. Then come too big to save, that if a regulator to even try to save this, then they need a huge capital from the taxpayer money, which is next to impossible. And I'm creating a new term which is called too big to eat. What is too big to eat is that if on every quantum Indian banks continue to raise the money, then I agree that 99% of the people do not aware about ALM, asset liability management, ALCO committee, immunization, cross immunization, net immunization, and all these strategies, because nowhere it is disclosed, by the way. But I am telling you one thing, that the whole is right in the balance sheets. I would like to explain in a very simplistic language. As we speak, glaciers are melting across the globe. Greenland, Iceland, Antarctica, Canada, US, and all, including India, Himalayas. Glaciers are melting. The rate at which glaciers are melting is much faster in the last 5 years compared to the last 20 years, and according to an estimate, by 2030, many European countries would do not have any glaciers left, which creates a water scarcity. Anyways, this video is not about that. But as we speak, the world is focusing on an issue which is called corona variants, fungus, and all these kind of stuff. We completely ignoring the glacier, which is environmental damage. And by the way, Taiwan is an example. But a day would come, probably in 1 year, 2 year, when the world will start acknowledging the environmental damage. And by the way, by that time, it would be too late to think. Similarly, when the bank raise a huge amount of money, either in the form of equities, debt, non-convertible debentures, foreign currency convertible bonds, warrants, and various other products, it creates a hole in the balance sheet, which is called immunization. Okay, as we speak, 99% of the people do not know how to look at that. Auditors never report it, and media, But like glaciers, a day would come when the world will start thinking about it. Example, Bitcoin. Till 2 years ago, Mr. Hype used to tweet and Bitcoin up. He used to tweet doggy up. He used to tweet ether up. But now, the world has realized. I'm not saying that the Bitcoin value is zero, by the way. The world has realized that tweets are not going to be running the show. Similarly, guys, the time would come, but by that time we would wake up. The bank balance sheets would be too weak to survive. And this creates an issue which is called systematic risk in the system. Like we predicted SoftBank in 2018, we predicted many things. I'm telling you that the Indian banks' balance sheet are getting weak. But the colleges, institutions, degrees, CFA, certified financial analyst, and all these, they do not even know that the earth is shifting. This is Rahul from Rishi Consulting Group. You know my personal number, which is +91 9899 242 978. Have a great time.